Once upon a time, in a bustling city, there lived a wealthy merchant named Sarthavaha. He was renowned for his successful trade ventures, amassing great wealth and material possessions. Despite his riches, Sarthavaha felt an unexplainable void within him, a restlessness that wealth alone could not fill. Troubled by this emptiness, he sought a solution that would bring him lasting happiness and contentment. One day, word reached Sarthavaha of a wise and enlightened teacher known as the Buddha, who had the ability to offer profound guidance on the path to inner peace. Intrigued and hopeful, the wealthy merchant set forth on a journey to meet the Buddha. Upon reaching the tranquil groves where the Buddha resided, Sarthavaha was struck by the aura of serenity that surrounded the enlightened one. He approached the Buddha with humility, seeking counsel on his quest for true happiness. "Great teacher," Sarthavaha began, "I have amassed great wealth and possessions, yet I feel a deep sense of discontent within me. I seek your guidance on how to find lasting happiness and inner peace." The Buddha listened attentively to the merchant's words, his compassionate gaze recognizing the burden that material wealth could place on one's heart. He asked Sarthavaha, "Do you possess any material possessions?" "Yes, revered teacher," replied Sarthavaha. "I have vast riches, grand estates, and an abundance of treasures." The Buddha then asked, "Do these possessions bring you contentment, or do they weigh heavily upon you?" Sarthavaha paused, reflecting on the question. He realized that while his wealth had provided comfort and luxury, it had also become a source of worry and attachment. The responsibility of managing his vast empire and safeguarding his riches had burdened his mind and heart. "I must admit," Sarthavaha confessed, "that while my possessions have brought some pleasure, they have also become a burden to carry. The constant worry of losing my wealth and the fear of not having enough have troubled me deeply." The Buddha smiled compassionately, understanding the merchant's inner turmoil. He gently explained, "The burden you carry arises from your attachment to material possessions. Just as a heavy load weighs down a traveler, attachment to wealth can weigh down the heart and hinder the journey towards true happiness." Sarthavaha listened attentively, captivated by the Buddha's wisdom. He realized that his pursuit of material wealth had led him astray from the path to inner contentment. He longed to discover the secret to liberation from the burden of attachment. With unwavering compassion, the Buddha continued, "True happiness and inner peace come not from external possessions, but from cultivating contentment within yourself. The pursuit of wealth and possessions can create an insatiable desire for more, trapping you in a cycle of craving and dissatisfaction." He urged Sarthavaha to embrace a more profound form of wealth, a wealth of the heart and mind. The Buddha explained that cultivating virtues such as generosity, kindness, and compassion could bring true richness and fulfillment to one's life. Sarthavaha absorbed the Buddha's teachings with an open heart. He realized that the path to happiness lay not in accumulating more wealth but in freeing himself from the shackles of attachment. Inspired by the profound wisdom of the Buddha, the merchant resolved to let go of his excessive attachment to material possessions and embrace a simpler and more contented way of living. From that moment on, Sarthavaha dedicated himself to acts of generosity and compassion, finding joy in sharing his wealth with those in need. As he let go of his attachment to possessions, he felt a newfound lightness in his heart and mind. Word of Sarthavaha's transformation spread throughout the city, inspiring many others to reflect on the true nature of happiness. He became known as a living example of the Buddha's teachings on the pursuit of inner contentment and the liberation from the burden of material attachment. In time, Sarthavaha's actions of selflessness and kindness touched the hearts of countless beings. The wealth he now accumulated was not measured in gold or riches but in the depth of love and compassion he shared with others. The story of the wealthy merchant and the Buddha reminds us of the potential burden of attachment to material wealth and the pursuit of possessions. It urges us to reflect on the nature of true happiness and the path to inner contentment. Moreover, the story highlights the transformative power of wisdom and self-reflection. The Buddha's teachings awakened Sarthavaha to the burden of attachment and inspired him to pursue a more profound form of wealth, a wealth of the heart and mind. The story serves as a timeless reminder to reassess our relationship with material possessions and to find balance in the pursuit of wealth. By embracing the path of generosity, compassion, and contentment, we can liberate ourselves from the burden of attachment and experience true happiness that transcends material riches. In conclusion, the story of the wealthy merchant and the Buddha illustrates the transformative power of wisdom and the pursuit of inner contentment. The merchant's encounter with the Buddha opened his eyes to the burden of attachment to material wealth and inspired him to embrace a more profound form of richness, a wealth of the heart and mind. Through acts of generosity and compassion, Sarthavaha found lasting happiness and became an embodiment of the Buddha's teachings. May this story inspire us to reflect on the true nature of happiness and to cultivate a heart that is free from the burden of attachment, finding contentment in the simple and meaningful aspects of life.